Another thing I think is valuable is to lower the I don't know if it's lowering the stakes, but acknowledge that some of the things we say in a classroom we might intend to say, and some of it we might be reproducing things that are in public discourse. So we might be reproducing a stereotype or something, and something I think sometimes students might need a moment to be sort of checked in with to see if they intended to say that thing. Did you know what I hear? So using kind of active listening as a facilitator to say, what I hear you saying is, and then when they hear back what they've said, they can kind of either affirm or correct or this kind of thing to try to be as faithful as possible, and making sure the student is represented, especially if it's kind of a sensitive subject. And then if a stereotype is being, used, then to use that as a place to start sort of interrogating that, and what do you mean by that, or do other people, what are other people hearing here? So ways to kind of have students be free to speak, but to hold them accountable for things that you don't want to be perpetuated in the classroom. And I do think that's I think it's easy for us to sit here and talk, and I don't want to pretend like I have that down in any kind of a way. But I think breaking it apart a little bit to say, you do intend to, I say, that's a stereotype that a lot of people hold. So to take it off that student, for example, that's a stereotype that a lot of people hold. What do you think people get out of perpetuating that stereotype? What do you think people get out of believing that? Or who might that hurt? This kind of thing. And I'm not saying that those are the exact questions I would use, but a way to kind of breathe some air into that discussion so we can actually talk about it, not to shut the conversation down.